Welcome in, my friends, dear light workers. We are here today. We're going to be talking about dark to light and some angelic messages from the angels to bring in some hope for the world. There has been a lot of darkness that has been exposed on this world realm. The first card that flipped out as I was preparing was the War card, the Five of Swords. And this was a card of conflict, and it's very physical and very verbal and very informational. The spiritual warrior came out, as well as the army card. And I believe when I pulled on this message, I heard the words, the war has been revealed. So I feel that there has always been a dark to light spiritual battle going on, dark forces versus light forces. However, now humanity is seeing it with their own two eyes, and it is shaking this world. However, as I was doing my other deck, this truth card came out, Ace of Air, exposure, truth, new beginnings when it comes to information. This is a massive opening, a massive new doorway into seeing our reality from a different perspective. And it had to start with seeing the darkness. Humanity is facing the darkness. Hello, everyone. Welcome in, Calamity Jane, Richard. Thank you for being here so much. I was in the quiet time this morning and I was thinking about this video and I heard these words and I want to read them to you. In the transition from dark to light, much chaos has formed. It is with heaviness that corruption is being exposed, not because it did not already exist, but because it is resisting exposure. As it is allowed to bubble up like a hot, scalding spring, even so, it will scorch its makers. Yes, the makers of darkness, the deliverers of chaos, the greedy ones of change. Don't feel the storm. It is dark, but help is here. Wow. All right. So today I'm going to be looking at several overarching messages about ascension, spiritual evolution, and how we're doing. And then I'm going to go into 3 different stories. So for those of you that it resonates with, we're going to go into my friend actually saw, she sees dead people. I guess that's the best way to say it. She literally goes into a funeral and has to leave because the person is standing beside their body, going from person to person saying, "Why can't you see me?" And she freaks out because she realizes the person going from person to person is not real, is not in this 3D realm. It's the person who died. And so she can see people passed over. She saw the video, and I'll explain a little bit how I know there's a lot of opinions about did it happen, white hats, blah, 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 blah. Okay. But she did have some intel or some psychic perception about C. Kirk. And then there's also several exposures happening on the other scales as well, but we'll save that to the end. Let's go ahead now and pull in some messages from Archangel Michael. One of the things that I have realized is, and I want to pull up this message here. The frequencies are changing and rising, and this is creating intense shifts. We just came from eclipse season, and eclipse season is eclipsing. It's the energy of cutting things out of our 3D reality. It's the energy of exposure. And it's the energy of the moon realm coming up and taking a lot of power. And the moon realm represents emotions. So there's a lot of emotions coming to the forefront. There's things being eclipsed, relationships, people are passing away. There's also a lot of exposure in the medical community, in the media community, in the economic and the geopolitical realm, like the campuses, college campuses. There is a lot being it's like the underbelly of an ocean current coming to the surface. And what Spirit showed me is that this is because the frequencies are rising. And it's like when you shake up a bottle of dirt and water, the dirt floats everywhere, but before it had been lying on the bottom. And I believe Earth is going through ascension pains. We all thought that the normies and the sleepers would fall away, that they might pass over to the other side. We thought that those who don't spiritually awake, that they might just move off to the other realm. Well, what we're seeing here is Earth is ascending, and doesn't mean there's not going to be a rapture or a point of consciousness where there's a shift. But with Earth's ascension, it's almost like the physical reality is catching up to Earth's Schumann resonance, Earth's frequencies, Earth rising in energy. And her frequency is rising, and no one can hide the truth of who they really are. So when we live in an ascended world, we cannot lie because we will be telepathic. So if I tell you my shirt is blue and you can't see my shirt, but I'm online texting you, I just bought a blue shirt today, but it's really pink. Okay, you as an ascended being will be able to telepathically know the vibration of a lie. You'll know it's not. It's not. She's lying. Many of these gifts are coming in, which is why many of us cannot hang around fake and authentic people, because we feel the vibration of you're just acting. You're just making up that you're happy, but you're really depressed. You're just talking a lot because you want attention, but really you're codependent. We are intuitively catching on people's inauthenticity, and it's exhausting to stay around these people. We don't like the small talk because we hear them talk about the weather, but we know they really don't want to be with me, or they just can't wait until this is over. They're just being here because it's socially acceptable. So we're catching that inauthenticity. But in an ascended world, you cannot lie. In the quantum financial system, you cannot do a false transaction, because a negative transaction of money will ping that financial system. It will ping that higher consciousness, and higher consciousness will say something's not authentic. Something's not what it says it is. So no one can hide the truth of who we really are. And that's why when things happen on the world stage, everything comes up onto the social media sites. Well, the hatred, the media news channels that are getting eclipsed because they're being showing their true colors, and their true colors are nasty. So that's all I'm going to say there. What is our challenge here? The world is going through a massive spiritual awakening. Massive. Massive. Okay? I think this is why there's so much anger on the internet. Humanity is having to face their own darkness. They're having to spew out and then be faced with it. Wow, I just said this thing and then I'm faced with it. This is intense exposure of motives, intentions, and dark agendas, all which have been completely hidden for the past 1,000 years. The dark agendas, the underlying currents of secret government, the fake, the fakeness, the presenting that we're in evolving worlds with beautiful technology, that we're all coming to first world countries. Look how beautiful we are. All, capitalism and, blah, 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 blah. All this beautiful presentation on the 3D realm is being revealed. That's not what it is. There's actually a lot of hatred in our world. So the exposure of what people truly feel, of what they truly think, and what their true intentions are coming out. That's our challenge, is facing our darkness. And we're collective, okay? So even we as a light worker are facing the challenge of being one with the person who hates, the person who's very expressive in their emotions. Okay, we are still one. So many of us in the collective are holding space. That's why some of us cannot sleep. That's why some of us are having health issues. Some of us are having some coughs and colds and flus. We're like, what is happening here? We're holding the energy of the rest of the collective, and we can feel their anger. We can feel what they're going through. And we are doing an awesome job, okay? We have trained for this. We went through 2019. We went through 2020. We went through 2024. We went through so much trauma as light workers. We now are holding the energy of the rest of our people, humanity. Our support I'm bringing in the spiritual forces here. Archangel Michael is a cosmic force, an intelligent being, but a cosmic force to cut through lies and negative AI demonic entities. Okay. Archangel Michael is holding the battleground for against media, against lies, media lies, against media deception, against anything that has to do with information. He carries the sword, so that represents information, thoughts, words. So he's holding the line and the space to cut through lies, and he's also holding the energy against AI demonic false entities, negative AI, or any kind of demonic power. Also the matrix and the false Metatronic matrix, the false harmonic antichrist energy, and a lot of these programs, thought forms and programs. Archangel Gabriel is coming in as the messenger of doom and destruction to negative forces. So Gabriel is known. The angel has both masculine and feminine energy, so you can refer to it as a he or a she, which is really beautiful. In my email, I actually sent out information and spelt it as a she. But Gabriel is a messenger. Works with the Akashic Records, works to actually send out messages and negotiations to negative forces, communication, which is very interesting, media and communications as well. And this angel sends, or these Gabrielic force sends messengers of doom and destruction to the negative forces. And what it is, it's saying this program is no longer acceptable on Earth. You're no longer allowed to hide in the shadows. You have to surrender, move off this earth plane because we're moving in, and this XYZ is going to happen. Sort of like they're sending in messages to rewrite the matrix. But Gabriel is also bringing in a beacon of hope to us beings of light, and it's holding the energy for us that we can stand strong. So let's go ahead now and ask Spirit for a message from Archangel Gabriel. I said Gabriel. Let's go with Gabriel. Okay, since we're in the energy of Gabriel, what message do you have for humanity concerning your mission and Earth's progress and evolution? Kwarika sharandarika sharanda, kiandarika sharyandarika sharyandarika sharanda. We also ask Spirit to cleanse the energies of this live, that would set a hedge of protection round about us as we connect to the energy of the divine force. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I forgot to do my protection prayer, but that is perfectly fine. We're going to start off and use our special code words. Okay. Hello, Shauna. Welcome in. All right. A message from Archangel Gabriel concerning it's your mission and concerning Earth's ascension and evolution. Korakasharyanda. All right. Yeah, definitely feminine energy. It is not a coincidence that I spelled Gabriel's name as the feminine energy. We're having the Queen of Cups and the Three of Cups coming in, which is divine cleansing, divine nurturing, and this is also partnerships with other high vibrational beings. I believe the archangels of light are actually hosting some of the planetary beings and those that have traveled to visit us. So I really feel, and I've been feeling this for a while, that Archangel Gabriel is actually a messenger, a negotiator between star beings, negotiator between other solar system, negotiator between higher consciousness and negative AI or negative matrix creations and thought forms. Definitely a major form of the struggle. This is rising energy amidst the struggle, rising frequencies. This is victory amongst the frequencies. And Gabriel is coming in with a desire, a wish, or an intention. So this is their mission, the Gabrielic forces. What is their mission? What is their intention? I'm going to pull 3 cards. Capturing and blocking, capturing and destroying, moving out of the earth realm. Wow. Okay. I have never before felt that Archangel Gabriel and the Gabrielic forces were fighter warrior angels, but all hands on deck. Okay. I believe that they are working very, very hard to take what has been captured, to take what has been sealed off, to take that. This is a thought form. Okay. This is a mind matrix. This is a mind battle. This is a frequency and it's funny because my throat is closing up. This is a frequency that has actually been placed like a grid over cities, over people's minds, and has them locked, trapped. Okay, they can come out. She just needs to take off the blindfold and squeeze between the swords. But she can't see in this card. 8 of Swords. She can't see. There's also been people that have been actually hijacked, okay, by dark forces. This would be any kind of thought form or actual intelligent entity that has actually taken over people's bodies and their minds and is spewing out the hatred. This could also be programming and control. And Archangel Gabriel is here. The Gabrielic forces are here to actually move these thought forms out of the way, to move even the people into a place in their life where they cannot be controlled. This is also a timeline shift and is coming in with major NPCs, non-player characters. Major non-player characters have been hijacked by the darkness, by even I'm just seeing like thought forms, like a grid of patterned thinking. And anything outside that pattern thinking is interconnected with their chakras, and they go into an intense rage. And it is like, I'm just seeing it like a crown that comes up to like their eyes. And it just is like a grid that goes over their crown and their third eye. And anything that tries to lighten or show a different perspective, shine light to see things clearly, it's like their chakras are entwined like a snake and they go into a rage. So Archangel Gabriel, how do you cleanse this energy? How do you cleanse this energy? Okay, Earth's grid, the rising frequencies, grid workers, people who are connected to the earth, people in love with Mother Nature. Those of us who have been feeling the rising frequencies of Earth, we're holding the energy of the world through Earth's internal core and her energy field. Earth's rising frequencies is doing the work. Archangel Gabriel is there just to escort. When these thought forms tend to open, it's like they alchemize it or they heal it. They just transmute it into light. So as people wake up, it's like the net scatters. It's like the thought form goes berserk. But people wake up, they're like, oh, wow, we've got to stop acting this way. And it's like the angels are there to dissolve it. So I'm not getting intense warfare as much as they're in the spiritual fight, but they're the energy of just to take this thought form, because thoughts are communication, words, messages, and to dissolve it and alchemize it. Wow. Okay. I just wanted to do a simple ascension reading. I didn't want to go into the deep side darkness. Maybe that's why some people don't stay on my channel for long, but maybe that's all. I will get a few subscribers and then they'll get canceled off. So I'm just going with the flow and I'm just going to be myself. Okay. I'm going to say what comes up. And if it's weird, wacky, woo-woo, then that's what it is. I know most of you here on this live love stuff like this. But yeah, okay. So let's go ahead and connect now to Archangel Michael. I'm really curious because he is the warrior archetype for the earth when it comes to the angelics. He is the ascended one that ascended to hold the hand of humanity and to fight for humanity. Shariandarika shariandarika sharanda. Kia 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 kianda koko bobo boko shikianda. Woo, we got a strategy and some psychic abilities coming in. Some high priestess energy and the 7 of swords. That to me, well, let's continue looking in the past. We have 6 of cups. Something happened in the past. Confirmation for the past. Nostalgia, looking back. The Tower card. This is giving me heavy eclipse energy. I believe Archangel Michael was preparing for the eclipse in the past, for this eclipse, for a very long time. The archangels can see in the time. They would have known the shocking events that was going to happen in the USA. These shocking events, I believe, did not pass out of the knowledge of the divine. I believe they knew it, because we have knowing something from the past, but then we have shocking events. And I remember at the end of either August or July, I did a prediction for the USA, and it said, US citizens do not fear the storm. And I could see something major happening in our media system that shocked people. And I remember that prediction, and then all of a sudden the thing happened in the US with the passing away, the forced passing away, or whatever they call. Yeah. Okay, and he's cleaning something up. He's moving something off the earth plane. This is a psychic perception, a strategy to utilize the events of the eclipse and possibly the events of what happened to expose all this media crap. This was an intense plan by cosmic forces, and it's to move certain things off the realm of the earth. It's to move certain things off the realm of the earth. Travel, move. Again, we have 8 of cups and 3 of wands, both traveling card and moving card, leaving something behind. Warrior forces, armies. Okay, look at that, devil energy. Okay, so this, I hear the words, the contract is breaking, they lost. And we just have a siren going by. Help is on the way. That's what I always say when I hear a siren. Help is on the way. It looks tragic. It looks like the world just fell apart. It looks like the darkness had its way. But the angelic forces of light have been preparing for this moment to move certain demonic forces off the earth realm, to cut off their mindset programming, their mind control over humanity. And that is what's been released the most, is the mind control, the matrix, the intense lack of common sense, the lack of human awareness, the lack of human empathy, the lack of human connection. Well, of course not, because it's thought forms, matrices, and entities in these people's minds, and they can be free, but they have to face it first. They have to face it. And so Michael has been working with the Michaelic forces to literally serve notice to the negative AI, the negative beings that have been writing thought forms and placing them over people's heads and been like, your time is up, get out. The people don't want you anymore. Get out. Because it all depends on what we as humanity want. We accepted so much darkness. And we have to realize we as humans accepted darkness. We accepted the control of the past religious system. We accepted the control of being told who God was. We accepted the mindsets and the thought forms. We just simply, for the past thousands of years, we went to church and we drank, we let them sprinkle holy water on us, and we said, oh, God is happy with us. Let me give my money. I mean, everyone in the world during the dark ages did that. I'll give you money. Please forgive my sins. How much do I need to pay you now? Let me go confess my sin. They literally were in matrices of darkness, having no personal connection to the divine. And we accepted it. until, of course, they did things and they got burned at the stake, and they translated the Bible into English and got burned at the stake, and they began connecting to nature and they got called witches and burned at the stake, and then they began challenging the universities and they got burned at the stake. There's been a long time running dark matrix that has literally been eliminating humans that are going against the world system. It's not new. It's not new. And so what Archangel Michael is doing is saying, you're up. You're exposed. Humanity is no longer accepting you to be able to just eliminate a speaker who is challenging the matrix. Does that make sense? Your time is up. And it's a very spiritual message. He's challenging the darkness while Gabrielic forces are cleansing the human aspect, the human element of the mind control. Okay. That's enough for that. What did the eclipse do for the world? Oh my goodness. What did the eclipse do for the world and for humanity's evolution? Let's just see what the energy of September did for us. What did the planets do for us? What did, do we have any hope here? Balance. The earth realm balanced. Oh my goodness. Earth's frequency balanced out. Okay, I'm also seeing that because we don't have as many chemtrails, at least here in the U.S., we don't. Here next to D.C., we do not have many chemtrails. Earth is balancing out. The eclipse season was able to activate ley lines, send balanced energy throughout the ley lines, which is why the media systems are kind of like shaking. We have previously in the past energy is mind control, media control, limiting beliefs control. Present is truth and clarity can now stream across the earth because Earth's ley lines are literally, it's like I see the streams of Earth's ley lines are all getting connected and there's a consistent flow. And because, the flow of Earth is in, and, let's say, British Columbia is connected to the flow of Earth in Florida, which is connected to the flow of Earth in the Caribbeans, which is connected to down to Argentina. The flow of Earth can travel. So it's like, it's harder to keep information blocked into little pieces because information needs electricity. Matrices need energy. Okay, they need to be energetically supported. So if you have a third world country, these dark principalities can put an entire matrix around those people, and they can all worship a false god, okay, or be enslaved to any kind of religious pattern. But when we start connecting the world, not just first world country with third world country in economic change and economic travel, economic trade, economic trade, international trade. Not only are we connecting with international trade, okay, we've been doing that for a few years now, 50, 60, 80 years. But what's happening is the energy of Earth was still disconnected. So the 100th monkey effect, okay, if people started waking up on the East Coast, but the ley lines don't extend to the other side, yeah, there's still consciousness, but consciousness doesn't go as fast if there's an energetic grid blocking it, okay, if we have a mindset over cities blocking it, but they can't block the flow of the earth. Okay. And when the earth's energy starts connecting, well, they did. Okay. They did. But because the white hats have destroyed certain things like the Georgia Guidestones. Okay. And I just believe the earth's gotten so strong, it's blown some of these things up. It's literally blown up some of these blockages. When the earth starts getting connected, okay, and they don't have access to the energy of the earth, our 100th monkey effect of I believe this here, so I'm going to give you the option to believe it here, East Coast, West Coast. I hope I'm making sense here. It's like saying the energy of the earth can carry information just as much as the wind can. Does that make sense? And so Spirit is saying here, the ley lines of the earth are much more balanced, so truth can flow to the parts of the world that had been blocked off from the rest of awakened humanity in the quantum field. The lies and deception, the eclipse attacked lies and deception. Any fake, inauthentic presentation, any kind of presentation that has been showing itself as, I am good, look how honest I am, I really want what's good for humanity, and that's why I believe XYZ. But this is saying that fake facade is getting like torn apart, and the mask is being ripped off. And if somebody really says, hi, how are you? It's so good to meet you. And inside they're saying, why don't you just get out of my effing life? I don't really want to be here. That niceness is going to be ripped off. And they, why don't you just get out of my effing life? Is going to like come out. And everybody's going to look at you and say, what's your problem? If you didn't want to come to this party, go home. Well, you went there for social reasons. You went there because your friends wanted you to, and you're hoping maybe you'll get some business deals, but you really don't want to be at that party, and you really don't like any of them. And that mask of, hi, how are you? It's gone. And people are going to start looking at you weird. And I'm not saying you literally, I'm saying like people weird. People are going to start looking at others weird because they realize how fake they were being. All right, let me look at time it is. It's 8:30. I do have a few things to talk about. One more question, then we're going to go into C. Kirk, the media, the view, Mr. T, sabotage that happened today. Please, if you say anything in the comments, use the code words. For those of you who aren't interested in that, you can feel free to turn it off. But we are definitely going to be doing one more question about the trajectory of ascension because of these eclipses for the next 6 months. The eclipse set the energy until the next eclipse. So everything that happened in the eclipse is going to keep slow rolling until the universe has its way for the next 6 months. So let's see what kind of trajectory we're headed for because of this eclipse energy. Thank you. Tense energy. Expect it to continue. Plans. Good. A lot of energy is going to be put into what was planned and started during the eclipse season. Whatever was planned out and started. Security. Investigations. Anything having to do with starting, anything that was planned or started is going to have a tremendous energy. What started? The announcement of autism and the connection to heavy metals and Tylenol. That started this eclipse season. That is going to have tremendous energy and be a talking point for the next 6 months. They will be discussing it, and things are going to start slow rolling, but it's going to be a lot of energy applied to that topic. Security at events. A lot of security. Private security companies are going to soar. In fact, some of you should invest in security companies, okay? If there's some major security companies, Secret Service type, private one-on-one events, I think that is going to just be very, very, I don't know if you do invest in security companies, but security companies are going to be a hot topic for definitely the next 6 months. Possibly it even changes the trajectory of how we even do things like events and situations that have to do with this. Investigations into mind control and hidden experiments. That's going to keep slow rolling. Investigations into a certain country that starts with I and its connections, with any kind of investigation. The exposure that started in the university system and the educational system, that's going to keep rolling for the next. Anything that was started in the next 6 months is going to keep rolling forward. Your plans are going to have support, and it's not too late to set your plans out, write them on paper, say them to the universe, say your prayers to God, let God know, let the universe know, put something on paper, start a plan. Because whatever you plan in this season for about the next 2 weeks, it's going to keep slow rolling with the support of the universe. Yeah, strength and energy. Interesting. Because in the center of this reading is a page of pentacles, which is the economy, currency, money, transfer. Ooh, okay. I'm sorry. I just got a major block of information that said, literally, it just said, this is going to put a rush on the financial system. Because if our financial system had been upgraded to the quantum financial system, where they would have seen it coming sooner because the money would have been tracked. They could catch them sooner because the money would be tracked. The currencies are going to definitely be highlighted. Now, this is also cryptocurrency, and this is just natural currency shifts that started during this time. Any currency that started, attention is going to be given to it. Any currency that had fluctuations or movement is possibly going to be affected as well. Investments are going to start paying off. Okay, last stop. Investments. What you planted, what has been planted during this time. If you have investments, keep it that way. Keep your investments where they are. Keep your investments. Now, obviously, use your intuition, okay? But investments, crypto, silver, gold, currency, a lot of that's going to shift. And it's going to be for the positive. So those are the things that we can look out for to see what is going to keep changing and shifting. There's a desire coming in from the universe, from the white hats, a plan, a desire. What's this plan? Thank you. This abundance. Okay. The matrix is coming in. Hidden money, hidden gold, protected resources. Okay, so there's a plan to possibly release resources that had been protected by the old system, resources that had been hijacked or captured by the old system. Yeah, there's a plan here to release, to let it go, and this is even going deeper. There's a plan from the universe to actually begin in the next 6 months taking down the systems that have allowed the corruption and the systems that have allowed the mind control and allowed just these horrible events. The systems, they're going to lose their power. If they are inauthentic, they are going to lose their power. There's going to be a major overhaul of some sort of war machine. I don't know what that means. It's a war machine. It's a conflict machine. It's a conflict frequency. It's a frequency that goes out and says, we're going to create chaos on the earth because we want to harvest their energy. Yeah, this is an energetic war machine. That is very, very, it's like a principality is sending out a frequency to say, you two are going to fight each other. Okay, but it's a frequency that says you're going to fight the light worker. You're going to harvest the energy. You're going to criticize this person. Oh, you see this person, go criticize them. Go block them. Go get angry at them. It's like an energetic frequency that compels people to start fights. That energy is going to be alchemized and dissipated by the forces of light in the next 3 months. I'm hearing the words peace on earth. I do not know how on earth we can have peace on earth with our current eclipse season, but Spirit is saying something's going to be alchemized. I hear the words it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I feel that that's what just happened. Like it gets worse here in this September season so that we can heal it in the next few months. And good news, the energy of the eclipse, I am told, is always intense the first month and it calms down. I listened to an astrologer today who said the month of October is going to be like a breath of fresh air. It's going to be calmer, gentler, and we're going to be able to focus on ourselves more. How will investments go for us in the next 2 weeks if we initiate something new now or something that's already in play and invested? I'm watching this. No worries, no worries. As the stock market is new for me, will Tesla stock be a good thing for new investors? All right, so let's go ahead and say, Spirit, are our investments the ones that are already in play? Is that going to be wise to keep? No, not wise to keep. Let me just see if I can tap into the energy of what you're asking. How will investments go for us in the next 2 weeks if we initiate something new now? So let's just ask Spirit that question. How will investments go in the next 2 weeks if we initiate something new right now in the next 2 weeks? Yeah. Of course, it depends on which investment, but we're just going to see if Spirit can give us an answer. Investments invested now, how will they go in the next 2 weeks? We have the card of some stress, but then fast moving energy, and the devil in the cards, the devil in the details. Okay, so right now, there's still forces of darkness in the investment arena, okay? So right now, within the next 2 weeks, it's still forces of darkness. And so I don't feel that anything that you do in the next 2 weeks is going to be super, super rewarding. Okay. There's still a lot of negotiations going on from now till the end of September, at least, concerning that whole being of investments. As a stock market, okay, will Tesla stock be a good thing? Will Tesla stock be a good thing for new investors? Okay, we're getting a rise, a partnership with tech, and a transformation. So I do believe that Tesla stock is going to change, but this is actually a very powerful energy here and a rise. So there will be some changes to the company of Tesla. I'm actually getting the message that what you invest in now is going to be different. The company is going to change. The company is going to change. And what it is, it's in partnership to possibly produce new kinds of technology. But the card here is rising, rapture, and an intense increase. Okay? This judgment card is intense increase. So I think that it's going to be different by the next 6 months. It's going to be different kinds of tech, different kinds of technology, possibly even some sort of new earth technology, but it's going to be different. So you might see different changes going on, but I'm not getting any negative cards. I'm not getting any negative cards. It's going to be balanced and safe. And this would be an actually protected, safe way to go for investors. Many have implied this is how it will happen when it happens. Interesting. Oh, you're talking about the big crash. All right, let's do one more question on the big crash. And then we're going to see Kirk. We're going to see some things. My friend saw his astral self. All right, Spear, will there be a big crash in the finances before it get better? A big crash before a big rise in investments and stock markets? Or will it remain stable throughout the transition? Thank you. We've got several cards falling out. Okay, universe is speaking here. 10 of Cups, the people will be safe. This is the home card, the card of wish fulfillment. We have Ace of Pentacles, a new system. The Queen of Pentacles, which is a secure system. And we have 9 of Wands, protected, safe, guarding your assets, keeping them in there. There is nothing in here that says the stock market is not safe. Nothing. And I think that old crash might have been a potential timeline. We have stability coming in. Confirmation, is there going to be a crash in the financial system or in investments before a big rise? I'm just confirming. Okay, there will be, interesting. So we got the energy card, a newness coming. And I'm not getting a yes to a crash, but there is going to be some independent forces walking in, which might put it into hold or into difficult positions. So take that as it resonates. It kind of like squeezes it, dips it, lowers it, but I'm not getting a crash. This is just the new energy coming in, and it's an independent financial energy, an independent system, and it might dip it. Okay, it might dip. It might get lower, but there's no evidence of a crash. In the event in NC on Monday, Simon said we are hours away from something. Oh my goodness. Simon is Simon Parks, the one that I do my intel from. Referring to financial system or to C. Kirk? Shauna asks. I think it's referring to the financial system. I can't wait to learn more about that. Okay. So for those of you who are interested, feel free to stay on. We're going to be doing some a little bit more political thing, because even though I try to do Ascension, my Scorpio energy, I just love to see what's going on. My Sagittarius, I love to see what's going on the world stage. Okay, so the exposure of the media system has been completely wild. We know that Jimmy Kimmel's was put on hold. The Disney show was put on hold because of he ran his mouth and had lack of empathy. You know, this lack of, we're all one. It doesn't matter who suffers. We're all one. So that lack of empathy. And then I also saw about 2 days ago, oh yeah, this was crazy. The View had on Tyrese. Is his name Tyrese? Maybe some of you saw that. And Tyrese is screenshots. Here we go. Tyrese went on to The View, and Whoopi Goldberg screamed, "Cut it, get him off my set." It was already too late. Tyrese had just turned The View into a ground zero for live television chaos, and every camera was rolling. "You don't get to lecture me from behind a script," he roared, aiming his finger squarely at one of the commentators. And he thundered, "I am not here to be liked. I'm here to keep telling the truth you keep burying." The audience froze. The panel sat in stunned silence, then absolute eruption. Another lady on the set branded him toxic, and he didn't blink. He said, "Toxic is repeating lies for ratings. I speak for people who are sick of your fake morality." And then came to the moment that will live in daytime TV infamy. Tyrese pushed back his chair, looming over the table, and hurled his parting shot. "You wanted a clown, but you got a fighter. Enjoy your scripted show. Out." And there were so many other things that happened here. He said so many other comments. I'm sure most of you know what happened. But this is what Spirit said was going to happen when we looked at September's energy. Spirit said, watch the media. Watch the media go down. Now, I thought people were going to resign. Now, people did get fired, okay? But people did get fired. So that is just something that I wanted to share, is this chaos and corruption is the media. Now, the C. Kirk, I'm just trying to, CK, I'll call him CK. He is going viral in his death more than he ever went in his life. His videos are exploding across the internet. Now, there's a lot of people out there who say it was faked. Okay, they say, "Oh no, the way it looked, it was like a horror movie, so we know it was faked." And they thought maybe the ring had lost fingers. I'm not here to debunk that. I firmly believe the White Hats have an exit strategy for people. They usually do it behind the scenes where it hits the news. Oh, they passed in a car crash and they have a funeral, private funeral. I will say to that, so I'm not debunking that, but I will say at some point the White Hats are going to have to stop that kind of procedure, because on a spiritual level, when you put out a lie, it creates an energy of karma, and that karma has to go somewhere and it has to come back. So if they keep faking the energy of fake A's, SSANG, this word, fake attempts, okay? Fake attempts. If they fake this and the whole world goes into shock, or at least just pick one state goes into shock, one US state, what happens is it produces an energy in the cosmic realm of our energy field of Earth, and that energy has to go somewhere. And either it's going to go back upon the people who did that damage, okay? That shock has to go somewhere. So when all of us humanity is outraged, we are sending negative energy to the matrix and the liars and the mind control program and the CABAL, okay, the dark elite. So that energy goes somewhere, but it's just the law of the universe. You can't keep lying on the world stage and not get the universe turn against you. So if the white hats are doing fake attempts, they need to stop, because the universe is going to send it back. And this is just a spiritual law of the universe. You can't keep lying without there being consequences, because an authenticity, if you're not being authentic, the energy is going to expose you. Okay, so we have these inauthentic fake people online showing their true colors. Well, if the white hats are doing something inauthentic, they're going to be exposed as well. So that's why I feel that the higher forces of light working with the white hats would not allow so many fake shocks, fake attempts, fake programming, because the energy of Aquarius that we're in would expose it. But that's just my opinion from a spiritual perspective. It doesn't mean that they actually did put him in witness protection. So I want to clarify that. So I'm talking to my friend about this, okay? I'm talking to her. I says, well, there's a lot of people saying that it was faked, and a lot of people, and I spoke to her a few times. She's like, did you watch the video? I said, no, I did not watch the video. She saw it. She was not expecting to see it. I don't think she saw it live, but she watched the thing. She saw it without realizing what happened, okay? I believe she watched it live, or she watched it without understanding what. I think she was watching it thinking it was his speech, and he had passed away elsewhere. So she did not know it was going to happen in front of her eyes. Something like that, okay? She texts me and she is in shock. Okay, this is when it first happened. She's like, this happened. Do you want it? I was like, no, I do not want to see it. Like, this happened. And she was emotional for a few days. She's an empath. She also sees beyond the veil and sees ancestors, and she sees ghosts. She goes to a funeral, okay? She has to leave because she sees somebody going around from person to person, wondering why that person won't talk to them. And then finally she'll say, oh dear, that person is deceased. And so the person who's supposed to be in the casket will be around the funeral trying to talk to people because they didn't know what happened. So this is something her and her husband has seen them. She once said, look at that. She was in a high-rise building, an old building up in Chantilly, Virginia, next to DC. And she says, do you see that man right there? Tell me you see that man right there. He's like, there is nobody there. And she grabbed his hand and he went, oh. And he says, and he saw, it's like his eyes were opened and he saw the man standing there. So things like that happen. She actually tries to shut it off, but sometimes the energy is so strong that her sight just gets blown open and she sees. So I was sitting with her 2 days ago, and she was like, I was talking to her about my opinions, and like, I'm just curious about why he passed. Did he have a soul contract that he was going to go in this way? And he said, oh, I'm going to go in this way and it's going to wake the entire world up. Did he have a soul contract? I was asking her. Or was it faked, like people are saying? Is there really the dark? Why would they go after CK? I was just being myself. And she goes, Ruth, I saw him. She says, he wasn't at the funeral. And I went, that was her first words. He wasn't at the funeral. Because I was speculating with this whole soul concept thing. Like, how do you contract with your higher self to go that way? And I wonder if, he went in peace. She says, he wasn't at his funeral. I said, what? She says, he wasn't at his funeral. And I said, you mean he was? She says, I saw him right after it happened. And he was standing beside his body, wondering what happened. She said he was so confused. He was in his etheric body, looking at himself and just trying to figure out what happened. So confused, so distraught, just looking around trying to find out what happened. She says when his wife did the speech right next to his empty chair. And she gets really quiet when she said it. She says, he was sitting in that chair wondering why people couldn't see him. And I said, girl, he was confused. They really did take him out. Now, we speculated that and then she said, but when I looked for him at the funeral, he wasn't there. He had moved on. Like, she couldn't feel his presence there. She says it's harder to do it through digitally, but she says he wasn't at the funeral, but he was sure well sitting in that chair with his wife, wondering why people just want, why are you, what, I want to, why can't you see me? But he was taken away, and I feel he was definitely brought into the light by his angels and was explained what was happening. And I did speculate, I did say it could be that he had a soul contract to do this with his angels, his guides. He was a very religious person, a very spiritual person. And when I listened to his videos, that man was channeling higher presence, okay? To be able to look at some of these people and their nasty anger and not come back at them and be mean. And even some of he's known as not being very judgmental, which Christians can be very judgmental sometimes. And so I would listen. I'm like, yeah, you're a different breed of. You had a being channeling in. It was either his higher self or an angel or some sort of being was channeling in. But he might have had still a soul contract to do this. And I want to say out there, for those of you that believe it was all faked, I'm still open to ideas. This is just what my friend saw. But it took her 2 weeks to tell me. Okay, and I don't think she really wanted to say anything because that's a huge responsibility to actually come out and say, this is what I saw. But I've seen enough of her work to know that she knows what she's talking about. So it looks like the dark side really did try to take him out, according to what she saw. But he received help to move on, to transfer to the areas of light. He might come back in higher consciousness and help. But I thought that was very interesting, and I wanted to share. Shauna says, another medium I watched said his crossover happened really fast. Within 3 hours of his death, he sees why everything happened and how it fits into the bigger picture of what is about to transpire. Absolutely. Yeah, very interesting. He's okay with playing the part he did. I feel that way. I do. And I'm glad that other mediums are saying the same thing. Ishmael Perez said the same thing. I didn't hear everything Ishmael said, but Ishmael said that as an intuitive, he said he really was taken out. It was not fake. And it was because of the eclipse season, which gives energy to eclipse something, and the dark side took advantage of it. I think it happened 3 days after the lunar eclipse. Funny that some of the folks claiming he's still alive are big white hats saving everything proponents. Yeah, not everyone will be saved. Exactly. I mean, if the white hats were in complete control, they wouldn't need to do fake attempts anyway. Okay? Right? If they're so much in control, why are they doing fake attempts? I feel that this is just part of the spiritual war. I do feel he made this contract, but maybe at that time of his death, this I won't get into it, but there's what the ancient esoterics call the phantom, and it's the residual consciousness. Okay, so that might have to be alchemized. His full soul his major part of his consciousness might have left, but there was another residual part of his consciousness that was trying to figure things out. I know. I wonder who took him out too. I heard that the Kimmel show is really being kept going by Democratic Party money, no real followers, or rather rapidly declining to a point where ABC would have to kill it. Where they're getting all thumbs down. No, just kidding. Go woke, go broke. Oh my goodness, this is why YouTube doesn't like me. Okay. Listen, I'm giving you all this. I hope you might speak about Trump's big speech at the UN where he tore a strip off of them. So I did not listen to the speech, but did you all see about the sabotage? He put on nobody in the UN heard his speech. The television heard him, okay? But no one in the in the UN heard his speech. Let me read to you what he says. A real disgrace took place at the United Nations yesterday. Not one, not two, but three very sinister events. The escalator going down from the main speaking floor came to a screeching halt. It stopped on a dime. It is amazing that Melania and I didn't fall forward into the sharp edges of those steel steps, face first. It was only that we were each holding the handrail tightly, or it would have been a disaster. This was absolutely sabotage, as noted by a day's earlier post in the London Times that said UN workers joked about turning off an escalator. Nothing can be hidden anymore. The people that did it should be arrested. As I stood before a television crowd of millions of people all over the world, important leaders in the hall, my teleprompter didn't work. It was stone cold dark. That sounds like a calm to me. It was stone cold dark. I immediately thought to myself, wow, first the escalator event and now a bad teleprompter. What kind of place is this? I wonder. I wonder. I then proceeded to make a speech without a teleprompter, which kicked in about 15 minutes later. The good news is the speech has gotten fantastic reviews. Maybe they appreciated the fact that very few people could have done what I did. And third, after making the speech, I was told that the sound was completely off in the auditorium where the speech was made. The world leaders, unless they use the interpreter's earpieces, couldn't hear a thing. Eclipsed from speaking to the world. Eclipse, eclipse, eclipse. Escalator, eclipse, eclipse, eclipse. Cut off. The first person I saw at the conclusion of the speech was Melania, who was sitting right up front. I said, how did I do? Isn't that so sweet? He says, how did I do? That is so classic of someone giving a speech and turning to their spouse and being like, how did I do? She said, I couldn't hear a word you said. This wasn't a coincidence. This was triple sabotage at the UN. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. I'm sending a copy of this letter to the Secretary General, and I demand an immediate investigation. No wonder the United Nations hasn't been able to do the job that they were put into existence to do. All security tapes at the escalator should be saved, especially the emergency stop button. The Secret Service is involved. Thank you for your attention to the matter. The UN is in trouble. They tried to do something during an eclipse. They're now going to be investigated for the rest of eclipse season. You picked the wrong side. Okay, Ethereal World says it seems someone tried to take him out, and then you see the speech and you understand why. He basically told the UN that they do nothing and prevent world progress, and also said that Mr. B, President B, admins were child transferers. I'm going to say that. You have to watch the speech. He basically told everything how it is. OMG. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if he started ranting off his own dialogue and they said, oh crap, we got to turn on the teleprompter because the speech he had prepared was better than the one we're getting. You're on the wrong side. The dark is on the wrong side because we are in the age of Aquarius. I just think everything fake, everything hidden, everything sinister is going to start failing. And if so much is failing now today, okay, after 4 days from the solar eclipse? 4 days. Everything has been triggered. All the things that have been triggered. It's just going to keep slow rolling to address all these issues. Now, if we had an eclipse season, okay, and something happened, and Mr. C. Kirk had been done in an accident, really taken out for real in an accident, okay, like from the dark side, and nobody knew, everybody just said, oh, we don't know what happened, oh, pray, let's go to the funeral, he lived a good life, but the energy of exposure had not happened to say this was nefarious. I believe the energy of the eclipse would keep it hidden It would guard and protect it, because the laws of the universe say whatever is exposed during this time keeps moving forward. Whatever moves, whatever shifts, it keeps shifting. So if they had actually hidden it, and everybody in the world thought it was just a simple passing away, bad brakes in the car, then the energy of the eclipse might not bring it out. You'd have to wait till a next eclipse season for the energy of the universe to expose it. Now, humans can expose it. This is our realm. We can do whatever we want. But that's just the way I think the way the eclipse go. It was all his dialogue, and when they turned it on, he continued a personal rant. Oh my goodness. I hear that the C indictment, that's also going to go on, things like that, indictments. COMEY, the C indictment is going to reveal a lot, because he's being a whistleblower. When do birds sing? Yes. The indictments that's going to be a theme for the next 6 months. I don't think the dark side realized. They tried to harness the energy of the eclipse, and it turned on them. Wow. It turned on them. It is time to watch the eclipse those that have been doing the censoring, doing the eclipsing, doing the I can't use the other words, but I don't want to, they hold energy. All right, everyone. This is great. So we're not having a live next Sunday, but we are doing a Break the Barrier webinar. This is emotional healing, making space for abundance. We're going to be clearing our chakras and opening them with a technique by Gay Hendricks. I will be doing some light language. The Sunday after that, we're going to be doing the Kingdom Shift update, a private live. We're going to start off on YouTube, but end up hopefully on Rumble, if I can figure out how to do that. Kingdom Shift update, world evolution on a world scale. This is going to be the nations predictions. We're going to do prediction of nations and the financial shift. Okay, we're going to do this on the 1st of every month, and then we're going to do like a webinar, and then we're going to do New Earth update, where we look at med beds. I have med beds and the medical industry coming in here in the middle of October, and so we're going to be doing that. I am launching myself into a clairvoyant life purpose coach. 9 weeks of looking at your future, looking at your destiny, looking at your best life possible, and then bringing up some of the guidance that I have used for myself, manifestation techniques for finances and freedom. If you know of anyone that is struggling with having desires to make their life better, but they don't quite know how to do it, they kind of understand spirituality, but they need some help, go ahead and send my email to them. I will give them a free reading, free discovery call, looking at their purpose, their destiny, and their best life that they can manifest, their fulfillment. And I'll share with them this program. I'm so excited. You can find me on Facebook too under Ruth Violet, or join me, Violet Flame Spiritual Awakening. That is on my Facebook group. I'm posting there a lot, but it's just spiritual stuff. It's nothing. I do share these videos when I go live. I share that I will be live, but I share mostly spiritual stuff there. I hope Trump and Musk are on the same side now and will continue to be. Yes, Musk, good question. Will he stand with Trump on the right side? Speaking of dark to light. Considering we had some investment questions concerning concerning Tesla, and concerning the question that I was curious about, the same thing of, are these two going to actually stay together? Let's ask that question. Speaking of dark to light, Spirit, will Mr. Elon Musk stay on Trump's side? Ooh, yeah. Will they stay on the side of light? Will they stay? Let's see. We got King of Earth. Oh my goodness, this is the Trump card. Oh my goodness. I love this deck. This is my political deck. Saw a video of them a few days ago. They looked amicable. Spirit, will Elon Musk stay on good terms with President Trump? What is their future together? Thank you. We have strategy and the dark side, the cabal, okay? We have love. They've always loved each other in the past. They've always been amicable? They've always been amicable. Two people. This is the card of socially acceptable, a peaceful society. Friendly. They've always been friendly. Their strategy has to do with something related to the Dark Elite. This is an internal energy force that's different. So they're guarded by a quantum system or a internal set of values, okay? There's a set of values that they have dedicated to now, okay? Now. This isn't going past 5 years, okay? This is now. They have an internal set of values. We have King of Air, authenticity, strength, and truth. This is Elon. Okay? This is Elon, King of technology. This is Trump, King of resources. Tech, Earth. Air, Earth. I don't see how this... I love this deck. There is a strategy that they have come together with a value system to take out the dark side. They've come together for WAR. They've come together as allies in a conflict. And I keep hearing the words, they don't always agree. But they have a value system. They are partners. Yeah, the energy between them is good. They are partners. They have actually a third party that might negotiate between the two of them. So they might have certain white hats that keep things moving between them, like flowing. Yeah. They came together for a purpose, and because they each have a strong value system of something they value will not let them completely fight one another. But it doesn't mean they're always friendly or they always agree. But the cards do say they have always been amicable. Okay? Like Tesla, Starlink, etc., will be essential for U.S. security and prosperity. Values, the people. So they will have to get along. Hopefully it goes smoothly for years to come. Is it Peter Thiel? Is he the third party? So several cards that come up. It's changed over time. Transformation. So part... We do have a King of Water here, okay? I'm not getting a yes card, but I am getting a negotiator. It's changed recently, okay? It's changed, it's transformed. But we do have a third party coming in as a negotiator. King of Water. Is it Peter? Yes or no? We're going to get a positive card or a negative card. So is it Peter Thiel? In the past. This is the past card. It was. It was. That's a very clear energy. It was. Because now things changed. Chariot card. Things have shifted. Okay, but it was Peter Thiel. He was definitely involved there. All right, everyone. It is 9:15. This has been fun. Yeah, we have the High Priestess energy now. And yeah, so there is definitely a higher grade person that is in the mix who has spiritual abilities, who is, oh my goodness. Okay, there is a higher being, an intelligent, higher psychic being that is like an incarnated angel, okay, like, I don't know if Ishmael calls it Val Thor, but this is a non-human. This is a non-human in human form with an intelligence of non-human. So like interdimensional intelligence that's somehow in human form, but it's in their full dimensional selves. Yeah, there's somebody in the mix who's a lot more interdimensional now. Did you see Trump's speech at King Charles' reception? I see a union in the works, possibly Canada being handed over to U.S. control sooner rather than later. Oh, we're going to end on that. We send to the USA, Canada, Mexico. We send the world so much peace and love. Stay grounded. Stay hydrated. We are holding the energy for the world to ascend. Together in light we rise. Have a good day, everyone. I'll see you.